April long, we've been celebrating Autism Awareness Month by sharing with you the stories of the people, families, and caregivers that are impacted by the developmental disorder every day. Today we meet local film editor Brendan Santidrian. Doctors diagnosed Brendan at a young age with high-functioning autism. Brendan began teaching himself how to edit by watching YouTube tutorials. He got the chance to polish his talent at the Florida Film Institute's summer program, and that's where he met instructor Arturo Sande. They formed a special bond that continues today. And here to share more is Brendan and Arturo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So congratulations. I understand things are going really well. So let's start with this. What does film mean to you and editing? What is it? How important is that in your life?
Film is an adventure into fame, to me, mostly. It celebrates achievement and goals and all other wonderful things.
So as you know, we've been talking about autism all month. And Brendan, I want to start with this. What is the biggest misconception people have about people with autism?
The biggest misconception is that we are aggressive and we are prone to unfathomable behaviors, such as spazzing and a lot of stuff.
We were talking earlier, and you said you also want people to know that they can have, amazing careers, very successful careers. So talk to me about that.
So it's true, just like with people of different backgrounds, the same should be applied with people with disabilities.
Okay, so your message, especially to younger people, is shoot for the stars, right?
Yes, yes.
Which is what you're doing. So we're seeing video of you right now. Tell us about what you're working on right now. What's your project?
I'm working on about 47-minute documentary called Haunting Florida.
And what's it about?
It's about like haunting stories in the past that happened in Florida.
Fantastic. So Arturo, I understand Brendan has become a huge asset for you and your program and for your own business. Tell me about that.
He has. Well, through this summer film camp program that we do, with the help and the sponsorship of the Miami-Dade County's Department of Cultural Affairs and the Children's Trust, as well as with the help of the state of Florida. That's how I met him. He actually came to that Florida Film Institute summer camp film program, and right away I saw a lot of talent. I saw that he actually had taught himself how to do edit videos, and especially also graphics. And that's actually how this process started. And we've been working together ever since.
I assume you feel like you're really delivering a great service to the community through your program, right? Giving kids something to look forward to as far as their future careers. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, that's true. The Florida Film Institute, it's open to kids of all backgrounds and autistic kids. Brandon is not the first student that we have had who's autistic. And we welcome their talents and their whatever they want to bring in terms of their contribution to the film program that we're doing and the films that we actually create, the videos that we create.
So we want to show some video from the South Florida Sea Hunters a project. Tell me about that.
Yeah, this project dates back in 2013. When I got my new MacBook Pro, and so this project is about the sport of freediving spearfishing and the dangers that come with it, such as blackouts. Basically, it talks about the competition that happened that same year, and we interviewed different divers from different countries. They talked about their experiences with blackouts. They talked about what age they started spear fishing. And they also talked about how they're going to win the competition.
I imagine your mom is incredibly proud.
Yes, she is. She's basically proud of everything I do.
As all moms should be.
Yeah.
So Arturo, or Brendan, the one thing I wanted to ask you about was what are your messages to parents? I know parents, when they're dealing with children who have disabilities, there might be an inclination to always want to protect. What's your message to parents?
It takes patience. It takes patience to love your child.
Patience. We were talking earlier and you said it was okay for me to talk about how you used to have certain sensory issues that you no longer have. I'm wondering if you can share that, because I think that might be a message a lot of parents would like to hear about.
Yeah, one of the sensory issues I used to have when I was a child was auditory. So like the first incident was my dad took me to a circus. Mm-hmm. And I was sensitive to cannon fire.
And you sort of outgrown that, right?
I basically outgrown anything that, basically, I think it's because of when I go to the movies a lot, it goes away, like from time to time.
So really, when you do your thing as far as work, I don't know if you work from home, but you don't need any special sort of accommodations, do you?
No.
That's terrific. So I want to know, you guys have a special bond. Tell me about that. What has Arturo meant for you in your career?
Arturo is my buddy. He's always there when I need him.
That's awesome. And I know, Arturo, that you feel you've learned a lot from Brendan. What have you learned?
Yes, well, I want to say he's very talented. This documentary that we were talking about, the South Florida Sea Hunters, that's actually a sports documentary. And that's in the editing, it's required, a particular way to tell the story. And this is his work. He's done it, he basically shot it, edited, put it together. And I've learned that this is very therapeutic for him, and also, but he's a professional as well. So I give him a lot of space, creative space, and then we see the work, and almost always is basically the right creative editing choice in terms of what he puts together.
As far as, I was asking about misconceptions, what would you say is like the greatest misconception people have about people with autism?
I want to say maybe that there's communications issues there. I don't see that with Brandon. Actually, we communicate really well in terms of, being friends and our lives, but also the work that we do. I communicate with him and he communicates with me with the same relationship as any editor to a director or a director to an editor. It's a sort of like two-way street basically there.
As far as people who, employers, what would be your message when it comes to considering somebody, with autism? It really hasn't changed the way you do business.
No, it hasn't. I want to say that, again, there are misconceptions. Everything is in the communication of the work and the space, providing that space for the creativity to happen through the process.
Brendan, what's your goal 5 years from now? Where do you want to be?
I'd be working on a studio. That would be amazing.
Well, I understand you have incredible talent, so I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you both for your time. We really appreciate it. Brendan and Arturo, thank you.